Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Fenya and I'm your personal esthetician. In today's video, I want to talk to you guys about exfoliation. So you have two types of exfoliation, mechanical exfoliation and chemical exfoliation. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that notification button. That way you don't miss on any product knowledge, product ingredients, and skincare tutorials. So with that being said, let's get started. All right, so let's talk about chemical exfoliation. What is chemical exfoliation? So what falls into this category is chemical peels, any type of chemical acids like glycolic acid, lactic acid, citrus acid, mandelic acid, and so on. All of those fall into chemical exfoliation. So this means you use chemical ingredients to break down dead skin and slough off the dead skin. You also have mechanical exfoliation. Now, what falls into this category is you have devices such as Clarisonic, you have the Mia brushes, anything that you rub against your skin to create sloughing off of the dead skin, that is a mechanical exfoliation. So even when you use like a cloth or I think they're called the halo, a brush that you use to exfoliate the dead skin, those are still considered a mechanical exfoliation. Anything that's beaded, such as the scrubs that you use at the drugstores or any type of beaded scrub, that is considered a mechanical exfoliant. So what skin type should use a chemical exfoliant or a mechanical exfoliant? What I would suggest for dry skin, normal to dry, or even sensitive skin, try to use a beaded scrub. And the reason why I say that is because beaded scrubs, you have much more control over how long you're exfoliating, how aggressive you are, or how gentle you are, and how long it sits on your skin. When you are dry and you have sensitive skin, you don't want to leave a chemical acid on your skin for hours or even overnight because you don't know how deep it's going into your skin. Sensitive skin and dry skin are already flaky, dry, and lack of moisture and water in the skin. So when you use acids on your skin, that evaporates more moisture out of your skin and it causes more dryness. Now, that doesn't mean you cannot absolutely use a chemical exfoliant, but I would suggest using less often and try to use more beaded scrubs and jojoba beads. And the reason why I say jojoba beads is because St. Ives can cause irritation, any type of walnut scrub, any type of apricot scrub, all of these are really aggressive and can cause tears in the skin. And I think that's why a lot of people are shying away from beaded scrubs, is because they have such bad experiences. They've gone through a lot, they've caused a lot of damage to the skin, and they're just not using scrubs anymore. But if you use a jojoba bead, which they're perfect circular and they won't cause any tears in the skin, and they actually don't have any harsh edges, which means if you push onto your skin a little too harsh, it's perfect circular. So it won't cause tears in the skin, it won't cause any irritation. So for all of you dry skin folks or sensitive skin or normal to dry, I would say maybe you can use more of a jojoba beaded scrub versus a chemical scrub or even those harsh exfoliants. And please try to stay away from any devices such as Clarisonics or any type of brush that you have to use or a device. All of these things can cause really intense tears or even spread bacteria. If you have acne, that can spread the bacteria. If you have, sensitivity, that can cause more sensitivity. If you have rosacea, that can really aggravate the skin. So you have other options. You don't need to use devices or chemical exfoliants to actually slough off dead skin. Now, this doesn't mean you cannot use acids at all. You just have to use the right type of acid. So the best acids you can use that are gentle for the skin is mandelic acid, lactic acid, citrus acid, and enzymes such as papaya enzyme, pineapple enzyme, any type of enzyme is much more gentler on the skin than glycolic acids or salicylic acids. I would say keep it on the gentle side, and then that way you have more room to use it often versus drying the entire face out with a BHA or AHA, glycolic acid, salicylic acid, and you've just really dried the skin out and you can't use any more acids. So for the dry skin type, be very careful and try to use more beaded or enzymes or very much more gentler acids. Now, for all you folks out there that have oily skin type or normal to oily, you could use different type of acids such as glycolics and salicylics, but again, all of these acids can dry the skin out. So even though you're oily, it doesn't mean you can go crazy and use all these acids on your skin and feel like, you know what, I can handle it. Because even though you're oily, you still need hydration, which all of these acids still dehydrate the skin. So use it in moderation and use it on a less strength or percentage. That way you still are exfoliating, but you're not dehydrating the skin. Even though I'm oily skin type, I try not to use too many acids. I maybe use glycolic acid once a week, maybe once every other week. I try to use more enzymes, beaded scrubs like my Revive Brightening Polish, which that is a jojoba beaded scrub. It's so gentle, but so effective. So pick your acids wisely and try not to over exfoliate. I do want to emphasize one thing, guys. People don't realize an acid is an acid. So if you're using one day a glycolic acid, then the next day a BHA, and then the following time you use a scrub and then a salicylic acid, all of those boil it down to an exfoliating ingredient. You don't need to use different acids to get a different effect. An acid is an acid. Exfoliation is an exfoliation. Whether you do microdermabrasion, whether you do a scrub, whether you use an acid, a chemical acid on your face like glycolics, lactics, and so on, even retin-A, retinol, all of those are exfoliating. So people don't realize this, but one day they'll use a glycolic acid, then the next day they'll use a salicylic acid, and so on and so on. But at the end of the day, exfoliation is exfoliation. So choose one type or two types of exfoliation and stick to that. One exfoliation doesn't do any different than another. Now, if you're trying to treat an acne, I would say salicylic would be the best option. If you're trying to exfoliate your dead skin, then choose the type of exfoliating you want, whether it's beaded or an acid, and stick to that. Because for some reason, people think, well, if I get, let's say, Drunk Elephant's exfoliating acid, if that didn't work for me, let me try Polish Choice acid. They're all the same thing. They're nothing special or different. Maybe a different blend or maybe different strength, but glycolic is glycolic, salicylic is salicylic. There's no difference. There's nothing special about one acid from one company to another acid from a different company. So when I usually decide to use an exfoliating acid, I look at my skin and I say, okay, so today I have a breakout. I'm going to spot treat it with a salicylic acid. Or if I have texture in my skin, I will decide to either use AHA, which is glycolic acid, or retinol, or even an enzyme. Then I can apply it to my full skin and just use one type of acid, and that's it. You don't need to use so many different acids every single day because that will cause irritation. You can't have too many acids in your routine and expect your skin to look glowy, healthy, and hydrated, because on a daily basis using acids, in the long term you'll start getting dull, dry, and dehydrated. People really need to realize that the reason why we have so many options with acids or exfoliants is because we have different skin types. Now, for whatever reason, if a glycolic acid is popular, all of a sudden every skin type starts using glycolic acid. Glycolic acid is actually meant for thick, resilient, really oily skin type. This ingredient, glycolic acid, is supposed to go into your skin, look for oil, and dry it out. That's what the purpose of the glycolic acid is. Now, of course, it helps with brightening the skin, it helps with exfoliation. All of the acids do that. All of the acids out there, even enzymes, brighten the skin and exfoliate the skin. But some of them do specific things, like glycolic will dry out oil production. Salicylic, again, it will brighten the skin, it will exfoliate the skin, but it will help with acne and pustules. It will dry it out. Then you have lactic acid. Lactic acid is from the glycolic family, which means it's still an AHA, but it is a lower strength and it doesn't really dry you out or dehydrate you as much as the glycolic would. So it's a lower strength of a glycolic acid. Then you have the enzymes, which are much more gentler. It's still a chemical exfoliant, but it's much more gentler and it's great for dry skin types or sensitive skin type. Then you have citrus acid. Again, it's great for sensitive skin type, much more gentler than a glycolic would be or a salicylic would be, or even mandelic acid. So the reason why you have so many options is because it's lower strength and it's for different skin types. So please understand that if you're dry, you cannot use a glycolic acid or the same strength as, so-and-so that has oily skin type. This is why it's so important to actually get a professional opinion and have them assess your skin to determine the skin type you have. That way you can get the right products and have the right ingredients in your skincare. A lot of times people use the wrong ingredients, the wrong products, and they wonder why they have redness in their skin or their acne is not going away or they're super dull or dry skin or even the pigmentation isn't going away. Because chances are you're using the wrong acids for your skin and it's causing more harm than good. If you have pigmentation and you want to treat that, the best acid would be azelaic acid. And some of these can overlap and go towards acne as well. So if you have acne and pigmentation, the azelaic would be great. Kojic acid is really great for pigmentation. You have arbutin, which is another brightening ingredient. Vitamin C's are great brightening ingredients. So again, you see how you have so many options. It's just, what do you want to treat? What do you want to achieve in your skin? When I do online consultations, this is why it's so hard for me to recommend products on Instagram without seeing your skin and seeing the type of skin you have to determine what type of acid would work best for you. So when you do ask me on Instagram or social media, I have acne, what do I do? Or I have pigmentation, what do I do? I have to see what type of acne, what's your skin type, what type of pigmentation, so I can determine what is going on in your skin to give you the best recommendation. I also wanted to talk to you guys about devices. Now, I know in my previous video or one of my videos I had mentioned about devices, but because we're talking about exfoliation, I still want to emphasize on the devices as well. So most people don't know whether they should be using a Clarisonic or not, or the PMD devices, or microdermabrasion at home. You guys have to be really careful with these things. I had a client that asked me about using a PMD at home. Not throwing shades at this company, but devices like this, you have to be really careful. I personally would say don't use it. That's my advice. Don't use it. Have a professional do it, because these devices that you do to yourself, you don't know how hard you're pulling. You don't know how tight you're tugging your skin and how intense it's, causing suction in the skin. Now, you can easily break your capillary walls. You can easily cause rosacea. You can tear your skin. So much more damage could happen in your skin without you even noticing, because again, you're doing the side of your face and you can't see. So you don't know how deep or how tight you're pulling. That can cause a lot of damage. Now, I am a professional. I have professional machines, devices. I don't dare to do it to myself, because I can't see what I'm doing to my skin. Guys, be really careful. You don't need all these devices. You don't need any devices. Let the product, let these exfoliants do the job for you. When you're buying a scrub, let the scrub do the job for you. When you're buying a cleanser, cleanse your skin with your hands and the cleanser will do the job for you. You don't need devices, I promise you. All of these in the long term will cause so much more harm than good. Because you don't see the damage happening in your skin until later on, sometimes even 6 months from now, you don't realize that the device that you used every single day has caused the damage, and this is the result of it. So what can happen in your skin is you can actually develop hyperpigmentation, you can get micro tears in your skin, you can cause holes in your skin, you can cause broken capillaries in your skin, which are those tiny itty bitty little veins that pop in your skin. Sometimes people will have it around their nose, right around here, or right on the cheeks. These devices don't do any good and can cause long-term damage. Spread bacteria, irritate the skin, cause rosacea, create sensitivity, psoriasis, and so much more other problems. So take my word for it and use your hands. Your hands are the best. It will do wonders. And again, let the product do the job for you. Now, I know some of you watching this video most likely will ask me this question, and I hope I'm pronouncing this right. I think it's called Foreo, or those silicone brushes. That is still considered a device, and you should not use it. Even though it doesn't have bristles, even though it's not spinning and causing heat to your skin, you're still using a device and you're pushing really hard and rubbing really hard, which will cause friction in your skin. So I would not suggest that either. The best device would be your hands. I promise you, your hands will do the job just fine. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I hope this video was helpful. Comment down below if you have any questions, and I would do my very best to help you guys out. I'll catch you guys on my next video, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.